Hey friends, welcome to this bonus video about dynamic formatting of measures, which is a great new feature in Power BI Desktop, which was included in April 2023 edition. So let's have a look at it. So let me first show you the issue, and then we'll see how this new dynamic formatting allows us to solve the issue. So for that, let's get started with just using the sample dataset. So it's more convenient for everybody. Just click here and go to Load Sample Data. What happens is just the window appears and there's our financials dataset. So of course you can also use your own dataset, but for now let's just stick with this one because it's quickly available for everyone. So let's click on load, just to load the data into our model. And just a second, and then our table appears here, and there it is. So now let's actually create a visualization. So let's say we are interested in, I'm using a table now because then it's easier to see. And for this table, I'd like to see here my countries. So I select country, and then I see a unique list here of my country names. And let me also go inside the view and also in the selection, and that's what I need, the format first. And let's go to the values just to increase the text size a little bit so it's easier for you to see on the screen. Okay, so now we got our countries in here. Next, what I want is, let me go in here. Let's actually create a measure for that. So let's say we are going with our, where is it? There is a gross sales, I think. There it is. Let's just use this one as an example. So let me right click on financials and let's create our new measure. There it is. So that's our measure. And now let's call this total sales as an example. Sales is equal to, and then all I do is using the sum function. So let me go to new line, shift enter, and then press sum as a function. And then we go with the financials gross sales. There's the column, just select it and close it. And then let's actually create the measure. So there we have our measure. So far so good. Now let's add this measure into our view. Let's just put it inside. And we can see we got here numbers for all the different kinds of countries. So if we would like to format those measures, so let's say because they are currencies, right? So let's say I'm going to my total sales. And if I select the measure, I have the option here to choose either one of the formatting strings here, or I go with here default and say, for instance, this is, for instance, US dollars. I can check this option, and then I would see here the dollar symbol in front of the number. Now that's fine, and that works. However, what if I would like to have something dynamic? So as an example, I have here Germany, and I know in Germany we have euros. So what if I'd like to see a euro symbol here for Germany? The France is the same, but for example, let's just use one country. Let's say here I'd like to see a euro symbol, and for the other ones, I still like to see the dollar symbol. How can we achieve this? Because by default, if we select the measure, you'll see that we can only select one specific currency symbol here. And this will then be applied to all the measures we have in here. So all the different kinds of countries. Now, prior to the new feature, we had the following option. Using the format function in Power BI allows us to specify any kind of format based on, for instance, the country we have here. That works the following way. Let's actually first create the new measure, and then let's see the problem, what the format function brings with it. So let's say this is, again, total sales, and let me call it text, because that's exactly the issue. The format function converts a number, so a numerical value, into text. So total sales text is equal to, and then just use the switch function as an example. You could also use if, but I think the switch is here the most appropriate one. And we say we would like to check the country. So we can do that by using selected value function, selected value. Then the financials country, because that's what we have in the view. And then we just check it and say, if this country, for instance, is Germany, then I'd like to have a different, in this case, format string. So in this case, I'm using the format function, format, and then I'd like to see my total sales, so total sales measure, but with the euro symbol. So I could say, for instance, hash, comma, hash dot 00, so two decimal numbers, and then the euro symbol. Of course, the format string is up to how you want to define it, but for now, let's stick with this one. And if you want to know all about the formatting strings, you just need to check out the Microsoft documentation because it's kind of similar to Excel, and it gives you a detailed overview of what a hash symbol means, and the comma is a thousand separator, and so on. So, having said that, let's just use this format for Germany. Germany, and of course I need to spell it correctly, Germany, okay. And then if it's not Germany, so for all the other countries, we use a default format, and we say, for instance here, format function, we are referring to our total sales, and then we just say, for this one, we'd like to see here, for instance, hash, and then comma, hash, and because I put the dollar symbol at the end, let's put it here at the end as well. Okay, like that, for instance. Then I can, in this case, close the formatting function, and then I also need to close here the switch function, and we are good to go. So let's just press enter, and let's just evaluate that. Okay, and now let's just check it. Let's go inside total sales text. And you can see that now we got here the dollar symbol for all the countries, except here from Germany, and here we have the 2 decimal numbers as well as the euro symbol, because that's how we stated it. Now, so far so good. You see that we can easily here modify the format the way we want. But now the problem with this old approach. Let's say, let me just copy this for now. Control C to copy it, Control V to paste it. And then let's just maybe for now remove the text, total sales text, which we used. And in this case, we would like to convert this visual into a bar chart with the default values. And we can see that this works, right? So that's no problem, because it's a number, so we can easily convert this to, for instance, a bar chart. Let me go back to the table structure. What if we also edit the total sales text again? And now let's remove the total sales here from the default one, and now we use the total sales text. Let's now try to convert this, or the visual, change the visual to a bar chart. So let me take this in the default bar chart, and you see we do not get a visualization. So it's blank. Now, why is it blank? Well, the reason is that the total sales text, so the formatting function, converts the number into text. And as soon as the number is a text, you cannot use it in a bar chart, for instance, anymore, or a pie chart, anything like that, because text cannot be displayed as numerical value. And exactly that's the problem with the prior approach. Now, what to do? This is where the new feature comes into play. You first need to, by the way, enable it because it's currently a preview feature. So you need to go to File, then Options, and under Options, under Preview feature, you need to enable it. It's the one below, so let me just show you the option quickly. So go to Options and Settings, Options, and then here inside the preview features at the bottom, there's a dynamic format string for measures. That's what you need to enable. Click OK, and then you need to restart Power BI. So if you're already following along with this video, please make sure that you save your current status first, and then you close the file, so you can continue working with the file. So after doing this, after enabling this, let's just check out what we can do now. So let's say we create a new measure. Click, in this case, new measure, and let's call this total sales new. It's equal to, and in here I say again, this is the sum of the gross sales, like that. Okay, let's press enter, and we get our total sales measure new. And by default, if I put this inside here, I should get exactly the same values, and that's actually the case. It's not formatted yet, but in general, it's exactly the same values as we can see here. Now, let's explore the new functionality. So you need to first select the measure, go to total sales new here, and then under the formatting options, we now have a new entry in here, which is at the bottom, which is dynamic. This was not available prior to the April version, but for now, with the new preview feature enabled, you can select it. And now you see that there is actually a new drop-down, which shows us the measure, which we have here, as well as here the formatting for the measure. And there we can specify our format. So for instance, I could now go inside and say switch, and be aware that you do not need to put any equal sign or give it a name, just use directly the DAX measure. So switch and then selected value for our country, so financials country. And then we say simply if it is Germany, so let me put Germany in here, then we use the hash comma, hash.00, so the same as we used before, and then the euro symbol like that. And if that's not the case, then the default is simply a hash, and then comma, hash, and then a dollar symbol. So no decimal numbers in here, like that. Then we need to close the parenthesis, and we should be good to go. So let's actually press OK. And now let's actually check the measure, and you can see, again, we get here the dollar symbol, and here the euro, including the decimal numbers. So we get the new format which we specified in this new dynamic formatting option. And now the difference. So if, let me just Control-C to Control-V to paste it again. And now let's actually remove what we had before. So the total sales, the default one, and also the text where we have issues if we convert it into a bar chart. And now use our total sales new. And now let's actually change here this from the table to a bar chart. So any kind of chart which needs numerical values. So let me tick this option. And you can see that in this case it works. So now we can convert it into a bar chart. And also, just to show you that the data labels here, let me check this option here, also allow here the different formatting. So here you hopefully can see that in this case, we got the euro symbol, right? As you can see here. So 24.9 million euro. And the other ones have the dollar symbol. And that's what I meant. So this is this new functionality which still keeps the value as a numeric value, but allows us to do dynamic formatting. And by the way, just if you want to mention this, yes, it's true that the axis here, for instance, still shows the dollar symbol. This is true, but the general feature, of course, now is available for us to use it. And for my personal experience, and hopefully for you as well, this will solve a lot of pain which you had in the past by simply using the formatting function instead, and that had issues that you cannot use it inside a visualization like that. So that's it. Hopefully that was helpful. If so, thanks a lot for watching. All the best, and see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.